Before you check your phone, before you pour your coffee, before you open the news, before you scroll through anything, before you even begin to think about what needs to happen between now and the end of today. There's something that needs to happen first. Something small in the way it looks and enormous in what it does. Something that most people skip over every single morning without realizing that skipping it is costing them more than they know. Give God the first minute of your day, not the second minute. Not the minute after you have already rehearsed your worries and counted what is on your plate and let the notifications have their first say. The very first minute. The one that belongs to the newness of the morning, before the world has had any chance to touch you. That minute was never meant to go to a screen. It was never meant to go to a headline. It was never meant to start with your inbox or your social feed or someone else's emergency. It was meant for this. Stay here with me, just for a little while. Everything you need to get to today will still be there. The emails will queue up and wait. The chores do not disappear while you pray. The responsibilities will stand right back in line the moment you step into your day. They are patient like that. But this moment, this particular quiet that belongs to the beginning of the morning, before the noise gets going and the world makes its first move on your attention, this is rare. And if you do not take it on purpose, it will be taken from you before you even notice it was there to take. So this is where we begin. I want to say something to you before the prayer starts, something I believe is true about why you are here this morning and not somewhere else. It was not random. You did not stumble into this by pure accident. Something in you, something deeper than habit, quieter than logic, more persistent than circumstance, pulled you toward this. That something has been pulling at you for a while, if you have been honest with yourself. It is the part of you that knows there is a better way to begin a day than the way most people begin it. The part that has tasted what it feels like to start a morning genuinely grounded in God and knows, without being able to fully explain it to anyone, the difference it makes in everything that comes after. Or the part that has never quite found that, but has been looking for something, searching for something, and has not always known that what the search was really for was this: God, first, at the beginning of the day, before anything else. Either way, you are here, and this is the right place to be right now. Because the first minute of your morning is not a small or incidental thing. It is the hinge on which the whole day swings. The orientation of the first moment establishes the orientation of everything that follows. When you begin in fear, the rest of the day gets filtered through fear. When you begin in hurry, the hurry carries itself into every subsequent hour. When you begin with your mind already full of worry and problem solving and all the things that are wrong or incomplete or threatening, worry becomes the color of the day. It tints everything. You see every situation through it. But when you begin in God, when you turn toward Him before anything else has gotten your attention, when you bring your open and empty hands to Him before they get filled up with everything the day is about to put in them, something shifts. Something settles. Something in the deepest part of you knows that it is not going into this day alone. And that knowing, that settled certainty that you are accompanied, that God is actually present and involved and going before you and walking beside you, it changes everything. It changes how you handle the moment that would have rattled you. It changes how you speak to the person who knows exactly how to test your patience. It changes how you face the thing you have been dreading. It changes how much you are able to hold together and what you are finally willing to release. It changes the version of yourself that the people in your life encounter when they encounter you today. That is what the first minute is worth. Not a small amount, not a nice addition to your morning routine. Everything. The first minute can set the course of the whole day. And here is something about the first minute that I think gets overlooked. Most people lose it before they realize they ever had it. They wake up and within seconds, sometimes before they are even fully conscious, the phone is in their hand. Within 60 seconds, they have absorbed someone else's news, someone else's opinions, someone else's emergency, someone else's carefully packaged image of their own life. They have taken the raw material of a fresh morning and handed it over to an algorithm. They have primed their minds with other people's content before their own soul has had a single quiet moment, before their own heart has had a chance to orient itself. And then they wonder why they feel scattered by mid-morning. They wonder why the peace they prayed for on Sunday is hard to locate by Tuesday. They wonder why the day always feels like something happening to them rather than something they are walking through with direction and with God. It is because the first moment went somewhere that had no capacity to honor it. You are doing something different this morning, right now before anything else. You are here, and that matters more than you might think it does. So let us give this first moment to the one it belongs to. Let us pray. Lord, I come to you first this morning. That sentence, just by itself, is a whole prayer. I come to you first, not eventually. Not when everything else has already failed and I have run out of other options and finally remember that I should have started here. Not after the worry has already had its time and the fear has already done its damage and the morning has already been given away to a dozen other things. I come to you first, before the day touches me, before the world makes its first demand on my attention, before my mind finishes its inventory of everything that has to happen between now and tonight, before my body has fully woken up and remembered everything that aches. I come to you first. And I want to be honest with you about what that costs sometimes. Because there are mornings when the pull of everything else is strong. There are mornings when I open my eyes and the weight of the day is already there, sitting on my chest, and my instinct is not to pray. My instinct is to reach for something that will help me manage it. A screen, a plan, a cup of something hot and a familiar routine. Something to make me feel like I have gotten a grip on things before the day starts pulling in every direction. There are mornings when turning toward you first feels like swimming against the current. But I am making that choice this morning, on purpose, deliberately, with whatever I have this morning, whatever faith is accessible to me right now, whatever is in my heart today, the gratitude and the fear and the hope and the exhaustion and the questions and the love. I am choosing you first. And I believe that every single time I make this choice, even when the feeling is not there, even when I am doing it by sheer act of will, even when I am half asleep and the words are stumbling, something real is happening. Something is being built in me by the act of showing up here. Something is being strengthened in the place where faith actually lives. Something is being given to me that I cannot get from any other source. So here I am. With everything I have and everything I am and everything I need, I bring it here, to you. First, thank you for this morning. I do not want to breeze past this. Thank you for the breath that moved in my chest through every hour of last night while I was asleep and completely vulnerable and entirely unable to take care of myself. You sustained me through the night. You kept my heart beating through every hour of darkness when I was unaware, when I was not doing anything to contribute to my own survival. You watched over me. And I woke up. I woke up this morning because of your grace, not because of my own management of my life. That is not a small thing, and I do not want to treat it as though it were obvious or automatic. Every morning is a gift. This one included. Thank you for this day, before I know what it holds, before I have seen whether the hours ahead will be easy or difficult, whether the news will be good or hard, whether the people around me today will be generous or demanding. I thank you for this day now, before any of it has unfolded, because I have lived enough days with you to know that any day that begins in your presence is already a good day in the truest sense of those words. Not good because it is comfortable. Not good because everything goes according to plan. Good because you are in it. And that changes what any day means. Thank you for the life I have. Even the parts of it that are not what I would have chosen. Even the chapters of my story that have been hard and long, and that I would have written differently if the pen were in my hands. Thank you for where I am right now. Not just geographically, not just circumstantially, but in the deep and spiritual sense. I am still here. My faith is still here. Even in the seasons when both of those things were reduced and battered and smaller than I would have liked, something in me still reached for you. And you were always there when I reached. Thank you for that consistency, that faithfulness, that unbroken presence on your end of things, even when my side of the relationship was irregular and inconsistent and imperfect. Thank you for the people in my life, the ones I see every day and the ones I miss, the ones who are easy to love and the ones who require more of me than the easy ones do. The ones who have stayed through everything, through my worst moments, through the hard seasons, through the times when I was not particularly easy to be around or to love, and are still here. I do not take them for granted this morning. The ones who came for a season and then moved on, but left something behind in me that I am still learning from. The ones who showed me what faithfulness looks like by being faithful to me when it was costly. The ones who showed me what I was capable of by needing something from me I did not know I had. Thank you for the small things. The hot water in the morning, the food in the refrigerator, the roof, the fact that I know where today's meals are coming from. These are not small things. There are people in this world for whom none of that is guaranteed, and I do not want to be someone who forgets to be grateful for the basics simply because they have been basic for a long time. They are gifts. Every one of them is a gift from a God who provides. Thank you. Thank you for your word. In a world where everything shifts and everything changes and everything that seemed permanent turns out to be temporary, thank you that your word is the same this morning as it was when it was first written. Thank you that the promises in it are still promises, that the love it describes is still real and active, that the truth it holds still holds, even when everything around me is being renegotiated. Your word is an anchor. This morning I am anchored to it. I am grateful in a deep and quiet way that does not always know how to fully put itself into words. But you know my heart. You know what is there even when I cannot reach it or name it. And this morning I am offering you the gratitude I can reach, and trusting that you see and receive the gratitude I cannot quite articulate. Lord, I want to bring this day before you now. All of it. Every hour. Every part I have planned and every part I have not. I am going to hand this day to you before I walk into it, and I am going to trust you with it in a way I do not always manage once the day gets underway, and my grip tightens and I start trying to hold everything together by myself again. I surrender what I have planned, the schedule in my head, the things I need to accomplish, the conversations I need to have, the work waiting to be done, the appointments and the errands and the responsibilities. I lay all of it before you and I ask you to be the Lord of it, not just the clearly spiritual parts, not just the times of prayer and quiet, not just the moments where it is obvious that I need you, but the ordinary parts too, the practical, mundane, everyday parts of this day, the spreadsheet, the errand, the meeting, the phone call, the drive, all of it. I want you present in all of it, not just the parts that feel like they belong to you. I surrender what I have not planned, because today is going to have surprises in it. There will be a moment I did not see coming, a conversation that goes somewhere I did not anticipate, a situation that requires something I was not prepared to give. And I want to meet those moments with you already present and active in me, not scrambling to find you after the fact, not managing alone until I run out of what I have and only then looking up. I want you there from the start. I surrender my expectations, my picture of how this day should go, what I am hoping will happen and what I am hoping will not. I hold all of it loosely, because you see this day from a vantage point I do not have, and I have lived enough of my own story to know that the things I expected were not always the things I needed, and the things I did not plan were sometimes exactly what you had in mind for me. I surrender my need to control, and I want to be honest that this is the hardest surrender. There is a part of me that works very hard to manage outcomes, to reduce uncertainty, to stay on top of everything, to keep my grip on all the variables. Some of that is responsibility, and some of that is wisdom. But underneath some of it is fear dressed in the clothing of diligence. And today, right now, I am letting go of the part that is fear. I am choosing, as an act of will and of trust, to believe that your hands on this day are better than mine, more capable, more wise, more far-seeing. And I am releasing my grip. Lead me through this day, Lord, not just in a general pointing the way sense. Lead me, step by step, moment by moment. When the next right thing is clear, help me see it. When I need to wait before acting, help me wait without resentment or impatience. When I need to speak, give me the words. When I need to be still, quiet the restless part of me that always wants to be doing something. I do not need to know the whole road. I just need to know the next step, and I trust you to show it to me. And as you lead me through this day, make me someone worth the people I encounter today having encountered. Make the places I go better for my having been in them. Not in a showy way, not in the way of someone performing goodness for an audience, but in the quiet way, the way that comes naturally from a person who started the morning in God's presence and carries that into the day, the patience that does not have to be manufactured because it grew from somewhere real, the kindness that comes easily because it is coming from a full heart rather than a depleted one, the steadiness that other people feel when they are close to me, even if they cannot name what they are sensing or trace where it comes from. Make me someone who actually listens today, not waiting for my turn to talk, not halfway listening while mentally preparing my response, actually present, actually attending, giving the people I talk to today the experience of feeling genuinely heard. That is a rarer gift than it should be, and it costs nothing except the willingness to be fully present. Help me give it. Make me someone who notices. The person in the room who is carrying something heavy and just needs one person to see it. The colleague who has been quieter than usual and whose quiet means something. The family member whose smile today is working a little too hard. The stranger in passing whose eyes tell more than their face is showing. Help me see past what people present and notice what is actually there, and give me the wisdom and the courage to do something with what I notice, rather than filing it away and moving on. Make me someone who encourages. There are people in my life who need someone to speak well of them today, to say the true, good, specific thing about them that is easy to leave unsaid because it feels small or unnecessary or awkward. It is not small. It is not unnecessary. Words of genuine encouragement spoken at the right moment can reach a person in a place that nothing else can reach. Give me those words today and the presence of mind to say them before the moment passes. Now, Lord, I want to pray with specificity, because I believe you are a God who cares about specific people in specific situations with specific needs, and I do not want to stay in generalities when what the people in this prayer are carrying is real and particular and has weight. There is financial pressure in some of these homes this morning, real pressure. Not the mild discomfort of wanting more than you have, but the harder kind, the kind where the numbers do not add up no matter how many times you run them, where the gap between what is coming in and what is going out has become a source of genuine dread, where a bill arriving in the mail sends a jolt of fear through the chest, where there is a real need and no obvious solution, and the ongoing weight of that uncertainty is exhausting in a way that other people who are not in it do not fully understand. Lord, I bring that into this prayer, not to give the anxiety more space than it already has, not to rehearse the problem in detail, but to lay it before you plainly and to declare what I am choosing to believe even when the numbers are not cooperating with my faith. You are a provider. That is not a hope or a possibility. It is who you are. What we need for this season is known to you. The provision is not absent. It is in motion, even when we cannot see where it is coming from. The unexpected solution, the unexpected resource, the door that opens in a direction no one was looking, the person who comes through at exactly the right time with exactly the right thing. You have done this before. You do this. You are the God of provision, and that description is still true this morning. I ask you to go ahead of the financial need. I ask you to open what needs opening and close what needs closing. I ask you to give wisdom for the decisions that need to be made, which steps to take, which offers to pursue, which things to let go of. I ask you to multiply what is there, and I ask you to do something about the fear that wraps itself around financial pressure, because that fear is often worse than the situation itself. Let it loosen. Let the person carrying it lay it down this morning. Let them walk into this day without that weight on their chest. Not because the situation has resolved yet, but because they have decided to trust the God who has never once left a genuine need unmet for a person who trusts him. There is physical suffering in some of these lives this morning. Health concerns that have been living in the background of someone's days for weeks or months or longer now. Diagnoses that arrived and changed what the future looks like. Bodies that are not cooperating the way they used to. Pain that has become so familiar it has started to feel like a permanent resident in a life that would very much like it to leave. Fatigue that no amount of sleep seems to touch. Something the doctor has been watching. Something the family prays about quietly without quite saying it plainly to each other. Lord, I ask for healing. Specific, real bodily healing. I ask you to lay your hand on the lungs that are working too hard to do what should come naturally. On the heart under pressure. On the blood carrying something it should not be carrying. On the bones that ache in the cold and ache in the warmth and just ache. On the nerves sending wrong signals. On the cells that have gone wrong and the systems that are out of balance. On the joints, the muscles, the organs, the specific named particular places of pain and malfunction in the specific bodies of the specific people praying right now. You made these bodies. You know every single part of every single one of them. You know what is wrong before any scan can identify it, and you know how to address what is wrong in ways that no instrument reaches. I am asking you to do what only you can do. The healings that medicine did not accomplish. The recoveries that surprised the medical team. The tests that came back differently than everyone expected. I am asking for those. I ask for the person who is in a hospital room right now, in a bed that is not their own, surrounded by equipment they did not expect to need, facing a reality they are still trying to take in and integrate. They are trying to be brave because the people who love them need them to be brave. And underneath the bravery, in the quiet between the nurses' check-ins and the family's visits and the hours alone, they are asking whether you are still there. You are there. You are in that room right now. Closer than the monitor beside the bed. Closer than the nurse who comes in on the hour. Closer than the family member sitting in the bedside chair with a book open in their lap and their eyes not reading it. You are there. You have not stepped back from this situation because it is hard or because the outcome is uncertain. You are actively present in that room. And you are working, even when the working is invisible. Even when nothing looks like it is changing, something is changing. You are a God who heals, and nothing about that has changed this morning. Give those patients endurance. Give them courage for the next procedure, the next round of treatment, the next hard conversation with a doctor. Give clarity and wisdom to the medical teams treating them. Let the doctors notice what needs to be noticed. Let the treatments accomplish what they are intended to accomplish. Let the body respond in ways that exceed what was expected, and let those rooms have a peace in them that is unexplainable, a peace that the people who visit remark on because they can feel it, and they do not know where it comes from. I ask for the people managing something chronic, something that has been part of the shape of their life for years now and is not going to resolve quickly. Something they have had to learn to live alongside, and learning that has cost them something real. Give them the grace specific to long seasons, not the grace for a sprint, but the grace for a marathon. Let them find genuine joy within the limitations. Let them not define themselves by what the body cannot do. Let them know and feel, not just believe in theory, that their life right now, exactly as it is, has full value and full meaning, and is fully loved by you. I ask for the people waiting on results, sitting with the not knowing, which has its own particular weight that is sometimes heavier than knowing would be. The appointments still coming, the tests whose results are not back, the scans that have been read and not yet explained, the waiting room of uncertainty where some people spend months. Sustain them in that waiting, keep their peace intact, and when the answers come, let them come with clarity and with a path forward, and with your presence in every step of whatever that path requires. Lord, heal the hearts. The heart can be sick in ways that do not show up on any test. There are people praying right now whose hearts are genuinely broken, not poetically, genuinely actually broken, by a loss they did not see coming, by a betrayal they did not deserve, by a grief they are still carrying long after the rest of the world moved on and seemed to expect them to move on with it, by a disappointment so deep and so personal that it changed something in how they see life, and they are not sure how to find their way back to who they were before it happened. Heal those hearts, gently and completely, not in the surface way that puts a layer over something still festering underneath, in the thorough way, the way that goes all the way to the source of the wound and does its work there. Give permission to those hearts to grieve fully, because grief that gets skipped or suppressed does not go away. It goes underground and causes damage from below. Let the grief be felt fully so it can be released fully, and then give the courage to heal. Because healing after real hurt takes courage. It takes the willingness to let the walls come down slowly, to try trusting again, to let hope back in when hope is the thing that got hurt the last time. Let mourning become dancing. I am asking for the literal fulfillment of that promise in the specific hearts of specific people praying right now. Take the particular grief sitting in the particular hearts among us and begin the turning. It does not have to be sudden. You know the right pace for each person, but start it if it is not started. Restart it if it is stalled. Do not let those hearts stay in that heavy place a single day longer than they need to. Restore what has been lost. And I mean that in the largest, most personal, most specific sense. Restore the hope that used to come easily and now has to be worked for. The hope that went quiet in a hard season and has not fully recovered its voice. The hope that got too many disappointments in a row and learned to protect itself by going small and cautious. Restore the faith that has been under pressure. The faith that is still there but thinner than it was, more careful, more guarded, less willing to believe boldly after having believed boldly and had it be hard. Not the fake confident faith, but the real kind. The kind that has been tested and has something to say because of what it has been through. Restore the joy. The real kind, not the performed kind. Not the smile that shows up because people expect it, but the deep, quiet joy that flows from knowing you are held and loved and going somewhere good. Let that joy return to the ones who have been running without it for too long. It makes the days completely different, and some of these people have been doing the days without it for too long now. Restore the sense of purpose, because purpose is what makes the ordinary feel like it means something. Without it, the days feel like maintenance, getting through, surviving, managing. But with it, even the smallest ordinary tasks carry weight and direction. Lord, restore the sense of meaning to the people in this prayer who have lost it or who are not sure they ever fully found it. Restore the marriages that are under strain right now. Some of the people praying with us this morning are in marriages that are not in a good place. Not all of them are in crisis. Sometimes it is quieter than that. It is two people who have grown careful with each other, who have stopped saying the real things, who used to reach for each other easily, and now there is a slight hesitation, who still love each other in some fundamental way, but feel a distance between them that neither one knows quite how to close. Where life has been busy and hard, and the relationship that was supposed to be tended the most, carefully got tended the least, because it felt like it would survive the neglect and other things felt more urgent. And then some of these marriages are in real trouble. There has been betrayal, or a long accumulation of unaddressed hurt, or a communication breakdown that has become a communication absence, or two people who want different things and are not sure they know how to want the same thing again. Lord, you can reach inside both of those situations. You can do what no counselor can fully do, what no conversation fully accomplishes on its own. You can reach the closed part of a heart and soften it. You can revive what has gone cold without anyone meaning for it to get cold. You can restore the things that have eroded. You can make something new from something that has started to feel old and tired. I ask you to work in these marriages, quietly, from the inside, the way only you can work. Let those couples feel your presence in their home. Let them see each other a little differently today. Let a small act of kindness open a door. Let the right conversation happen at the right time. Let forgiveness find its way into the places where bitterness has been living, and over days and weeks and months, let the restoration take hold. Let what was broken be rebuilt. Let what was cold become warm again. Let what looked like the end reveal itself as the beginning of something better. Restore the families that have been fractured, the parent and the adult child who have not spoken in months or years, and both carry the weight of it. The siblings who had a falling out over something that has grown so old now that neither one can quite locate the original wound under all the accumulated distance. The family member who has gone quiet, absent from gatherings, absent from group conversations, gone in that particular way that everyone notices, but no one knows how to address. The estrangements that everyone assumed would be temporary and have somehow become permanent. You can work in these situations even when everyone involved has given up on them. You do not need anyone's cooperation to start. Begin in the heart that is most open to you right now and work from there outward. Soften the one who is most ready to be softened, and let that softening eventually create conditions where the other can soften too. Let there be real reconciliation, not the surface version where people are civil at family events but nothing has actually been healed and everyone knows it. The real thing, where people can sit together and feel the warmth coming back, where the conversation goes somewhere real, where what was said that should not have been said gets acknowledged, and what was not said that needed to be said finally gets said, where forgiveness is not just declared, but actually felt, actually given, actually received, and the wound it was covering finally begins to close. I believe you can do this. I believe you are already doing it in situations that look completely frozen to the people inside them. You have not given up on any of these families or any of these relationships, and I am asking you to let us see evidence of that in the days ahead. Now let me speak to something that I know is true of many of the people praying this morning. There is a particular kind of tired that has settled into some of these lives, not just the tired that comes from a bad night's sleep or a long week, the deeper kind, the tired of having held things together for a long time, the tired of being the strong one in a situation that has required strength for longer than a person feels like they have it, the tired of faithfulness in a hard season, the tired of hoping and trusting and believing and showing up when nothing appears to be changing, the tired of carrying the needs of other people on top of your own needs, the tired of being responsible for more than any one person should have to be responsible for. I know that tired, and God, you know it too. Lord, meet the weary ones this morning. Meet them in the specific texture of their weariness, not with a list of things they should be doing differently, not with a reminder of how much worse it could be, not with any of the things well-meaning people say when they do not actually know what to say, just with your presence, just with the felt, undeniable personal sense of not being alone, just with the knowledge, made real and tangible this morning, that you see them. You see exactly what they are carrying. You see how long they have been carrying it. You see the way they got up this morning anyway, and you are not taking that for granted. Renew the strength of the weary. That is a promise already written in your word. Let it be kept today. Let the ones who are running low be filled. Let the ones whose reserves are depleted be replenished. Let them rise up from this morning, not with a manufactured energy that does not match how they actually feel, but with the genuine deep renewal that comes from time in God's presence. The renewal that is different from rest. The renewal that puts something back that was gone. And Lord, for the ones who are lonely this morning, the particular loneliness that goes deeper than physical solitude, the loneliness of grief, where the person who knew you most completely is no longer there, the loneliness of a season where the friendships you expected to have by now have not materialized, or have thinned, or have shifted in ways that left you more alone than you thought you would be. The loneliness of being in a room full of people and still not quite feeling known by any of them. The loneliness that comes from carrying something privately, a struggle, a worry, a part of your story, that you do not feel safe sharing with anyone in your life. Meet the lonely ones, Lord. Not eventually, today. Let something in this morning prayer be an encounter with your real and present company. Let them feel, in whatever way they can receive it, that they are not alone. Not in the generic sense, not as a comfort phrase, but as the actual current fact that it is. You are here. You know their name. You know what this morning is like for them specifically, and you are not distant from them. And in your time, send people, the right people, not just anyone, but the person who sees them, the friendship that goes past the surface, the community where they actually belong and belonging feels real rather than performed. You have done this before for people in this exact place. Do it again for the ones who need it right now. Now let me declare some things that I believe and that the people praying with me need to hear, said out loud this morning. We declare that today is a good day. We declare it before we have seen how it goes, before the first test arrives, before the first moment where the faith that feels clear right now gets tested by something real. We declare it now, while the morning is still new and the day is still an open field. Today is a good day, not because everything is going to go exactly as we want it to, but because God is in it. And when God is present and active in a day, even the parts that are hard serve a purpose. Even the unexpected turns lead somewhere. We declare that we are not going into this day unaccompanied. There is a covering over us that we did not put there, and that nothing the day can bring will remove. Every room we walk into today has already been entered by a God who goes before us. Every difficult conversation today has a helper in it that we did not bring ourselves. Every challenge has already been seen by the God who holds the end from the beginning and who has already provided for it. We are not walking in alone. We were never walking in alone. We declare it this morning so the rest of the day knows it. We declare that provision is already in motion, for the needs we know about and for the ones we have not yet identified. The provision is not absent. It is coming. What is needed for this season and this step is already moving toward us. We receive it by faith ahead of its arrival, with the confidence of people who have watched this God provide before and know that He will not stop now. We declare that healing is happening, in bodies, in minds, in hearts, in relationships, in situations that look unchanged to the human eye, underneath the surface, at the level where God works and human tools cannot follow. Healing is in process, not paused, not delayed indefinitely. Happening, right now. In the specific places we have brought before God this morning, we believe that this is not the end of the story. The hardest chapters are not the final chapters. The longest winters are not the final season. There is more. There is still ahead. For every person in this prayer who has begun to wonder whether the good they hoped for is still coming, it is still coming. God has not canceled the promise. The answer that seems to be taking forever is still on its way. The breakthrough that seems impossible is not beyond a God for whom nothing is impossible. We believe it. We choose to believe it, even the ones who are choosing it through clenched teeth and tired eyes. We choose it. We believe that the God who has been faithful this far will not stop being faithful now. That is the entire substance of our confidence. Not that things are easy, not that we have everything figured out, not that the circumstances are cooperating. That God, who has brought us through everything we have already been through, has not changed and has not stepped back and has not run out of faithfulness. What He has started in us, He will finish. What He has promised, He will keep. Who He has been for us, He will continue to be. That is our anchor. That is what we are standing on this morning. It is enough. It has always been enough, and it always will be. Lord, as this prayer comes to its close, I want to name one more thing. I want to make a commitment, out loud, before you and before all the people praying alongside me this morning. Not a resolution I will abandon by next week. A real commitment about the mornings ahead. Every morning, Lord, I am coming back to this. Every morning, before the phone, before the news, before the coffee has finished brewing and the day has started pulling on me, before anything else has gotten to me, I am coming here first. Not because I am going to be perfectly disciplined about it, not because I am going to do it without missing a morning, but because I know what kind of person walks out the door on the days when I start with you. I know the difference between the version of me who has spent the first moment with God and the version who has spent it with a screen. The world gets a better version of me when you have had me first. The people in my life get a better version. I get a better version. And that is worth the choice, every morning. So I am making it now. As a declaration, as a commitment, as a prayer. Every morning, Lord, I choose you first. Help me keep this. On the mornings when it is easy, and on the mornings when every pull in me wants to do something else. Remind me why this matters. Remind me what it does. Remind me what the day looks like when I begin it here. And let that reminder be stronger than the pull toward anything else. And now, Lord, go with me. Go before me into every room I will walk into today. Prepare the hearts of the people I will meet before I get there. Prepare my own heart to be open and present and genuinely useful. Stand with me in every moment where something is required of me that I cannot supply from my own resources. Remind me who I am when I lose track. Hold me steady when the day tries to shake me. Restore my peace when the noise steals it. Bring me back to center every time I drift. Go before me into every hard thing, whatever it is, the hard conversation I have been putting off, the situation I am walking into without knowing how it is going to go, the moment where the faith I declared this morning gets tested by something real and concrete. Be there first. Be there already. Be there in the middle of it. And be there when it is over and I need to debrief with someone who was present for all of it. Let this day be the day it was designed to be. Let me be the person in it I was designed to be. Let every interaction leave something behind. Something small, maybe. Something that cannot always be measured. But something real. Something that came from having spent this morning here, in your presence, with your word and your spirit and your goodness shaping what I carry into the rest of the hours. And at the end of this day, Lord, when I close it out and come back to you in the quiet, let me be able to say, God was with me today. I felt it, in the moment that should have been harder than it was, in the patience I had that did not come from me, in the peace I found in the middle of a situation that gave me no reason for peace, in the small, unexpected joy in an ordinary afternoon moment, in the conversation that went somewhere better than I expected. He was with me today, and it made a difference, and it was enough. In Jesus' name, I believe every word of this prayer. In Jesus' name, I receive what has been declared over my life and the lives of the people who have prayed alongside me this morning. In Jesus' name, what has been asked is heard, and what has been trusted is held. Amen. Before you step away from this moment and back into the world, one thing. If this prayer reached you somewhere real this morning, would you do something simple? Scroll down and leave a comment below. Just the words, God first. 2 words. That is all. Because this video is going to be found by people who need it. People who are going to stumble onto it in a difficult morning, in a moment of fear, in a quiet car in a parking lot before a hard day, in a hospital waiting room where they are looking for something to hold on to. And when they scroll down and they see your comment, God first, they will know they are not the only one who has been here. They will know that other people brought real weight and real faith to this place and found something real. You might not know whose morning you are going to change with 2 words, but you might. Write it, God first, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Someone whose mornings have been heavy. Someone who keeps waking up and immediately picking up the full weight of the day before they have had a single moment of peace. Someone who is running on empty and needs to find a different starting point. Send it to them today. Let their morning begin here tomorrow. Now go. You gave God the first moment of this morning. He has received it. Everything that comes next is already in His hands. The same hands that have held every other day of your life. The hard ones and the beautiful ones, and the ones that changed everything without asking your permission first. He has not dropped any of them. He is not going to start with this one. You are known. You are seen. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not too far from where you need to be. You are not too old, and you are not too tired, and it is not too late. You are exactly where God knew you would be this morning, and He has everything you need for exactly this day. Go into it, covered, accompanied, known, His, God first, then everything else. That is the whole thing. That is the life that holds together. That is the morning that changes the day. That is the first minute that reshapes every minute that follows. Go live it. In Jesus' name, amen. Extended reflection for the listener. To be read as a seamless continuation of the prayer experience, there is something I want you to understand about what just happened in that prayer. You did not just listen to someone else pray. You prayed. Whatever you brought into this morning, whatever was sitting on your chest when you opened your eyes, whatever you have been carrying into each day lately without telling many people about it, whatever the specific weight or the specific fear or the specific hope has been, you brought it into the presence of God this morning. And that is not a neutral thing. That is not a routine. That is an event. Because God responds to the turned heart. He responds to the person who orients themselves toward Him in the morning before the world gets to them. He responds to the open hand. He responds to the decision made on purpose to put Him first when everything else in the culture and in the momentum of modern life is constantly conspiring to make Him last or second or optional. You made a different choice this morning, and I want you to hold that in your hands and look at it for a moment before the day runs away with your attention. Think about the version of you that walks into the rest of this day after this morning. Really think about it. The person who started the day by giving the first moment to God is a different person than the one who started the day scrolling through other people's lives and absorbing other people's anxieties. The difference is not always visible on the outside, not right away, not all at once, but it is real. It is happening in the places inside you where your orientation is set, in the part of you that determines how much room fear gets before faith closes it down, in the part of you that decides whether to respond from a centered place or a reactive one, in the part of you that carries into every room today either a piece that you carried in from this morning or a wound you picked up before you left the house. Those are different people, and the world gets a different version of you depending on which one walked out the door. You chose this morning. You are the version that prayed first. Now I want to say something about the people you are going to encounter today. You are going to interact with people today who did not start their morning the way you started yours. People who woke up and went immediately into the noise. People who are anxious before noon because they took in too much too fast before they were ready. People who are already running on fumes because no one taught them that the first moment of the day is something worth protecting. People who are doing the best they can with what they have and what they know. You have something they might need today. And I do not mean that in a preachy way, in the way of someone who has the answers and wants to make sure everyone knows it. I mean it in the simpler, more useful way. The peace you carry into a room changes the room. The steadiness you bring to a conversation changes the conversation. The patience you have with a difficult person can mean more to that person than you will ever know, because what they encountered in you was something they do not encounter very often, and something they needed without knowing they needed it. You are going to be someone's encounter with the grace of God today, maybe without a single word about it, maybe just by being the person in the room who is not rattled when things get tense, maybe just by being the one who listens when everyone else is talking, maybe just by the way you treat the person who cannot do anything for you. Carry this morning into all of that. Let what happened here be something that travels with you through every hour of this day. And let me say one more thing about the commitment you made in that prayer. The commitment to come back every morning. I know how these things go. You make the decision with genuine sincerity and genuine intention, and the next morning the alarm goes off, and you are tired, and the phone is right there, and somehow a week passes, and you realize you have not done it. And then it has been 2 weeks. And the guilt around that starts to feel like its own barrier. And the prayer that was supposed to be the beginning of something becomes the thing you feel bad about not doing. I want to talk about that honestly, because it is real, and it happens to almost everyone who tries to build a morning prayer practice, and it does not mean you failed. If tomorrow morning is hard, that is not a sign that this morning did not matter. This morning mattered. This choice today, this first moment given to God. It is real, and it is received, and it changes something regardless of what tomorrow looks like. You do not build a new way of living in a day. You build it in days, one morning at a time. And some of those mornings are going to be shorter and harder and less composed than this one. Some mornings you're going to pray 3 sentences before someone needs something from you. Some mornings you're going to fall asleep in the middle of trying. Some mornings you are going to reach for God first and then realize you already looked at your phone before you thought of it. That is not failure. That is the human reality of building something new. The only thing that makes it fail is stopping entirely. One imperfect morning does not undo anything. You just come back, the next morning, and the one after that. God is not keeping a ledger of the mornings you did not start well. He is watching the mornings where you turned toward Him, and every one of those mornings counts, regardless of how composed or coherent the prayer was, regardless of how long it lasted, regardless of whether the feeling was there or whether it was purely a choice made by someone too tired to feel much of anything. Come back. Every morning you can, before anything else gets the first word. That is the whole practice. That is the whole commitment. Come back, again and again and again. Give God the first minute whenever the first minute is available to give. And on the mornings when even that feels like too much, give Him the first word. Just one sentence, just one turning of the heart. Lord, I am here. That is enough. He receives it. And over time, not all at once, not in a dramatic overnight transformation, but over time, the practice builds something. It builds a person who is more oriented toward God throughout the day, even when they are not formally praying, who carries a kind of background awareness of God's presence into ordinary situations, who has a reflex when something hard happens to turn toward God before they turn toward panic or toward trying to manage everything alone, who has a peace that other people notice and sometimes ask about. That is the person that a daily practice of giving God the first moment gradually shapes, and that person is the one you are building toward right now, in this morning, in this choice. It is worth it. All of it is worth it. One last thing before this is over. You might feel, stepping back into the ordinary rhythm of this day, a slight reluctance, a wish to stay in this quiet a little longer before the day gets loud. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. Hold on to the quality of this morning as long as you can. Let the quietness of it follow you out the door and into the first conversation and through the first task. And when the day gets loud, because it will, just remember, you gave God the first moment. He has the day. You are not in it alone. The strength for whatever is coming is already available to you because you went to the source of it this morning before you needed it. That is the practice. That is the life. That is the first minute that changes everything that comes after it. God first, then everything else. Go.